Today, I'm going to be talking with you a little bit about St. John's wort and St. John's wort infused oil and what you would use it for, as well as contraindications. And also, we're going to discuss some very common conflicting information that you find online about it being toxic. Okay, let's go ahead and get started here. I'm actually going to be filling these 8-ounce stout jars, which are sterilized, for sale in my shop, depending on the beautiful color of the oil as it emerges. I've got several gallons getting ready to go. So we're gonna go ahead and I'll test this one out in a minute. This one I'm absolutely positive is ready, but it's only a quart. But we'll start with this one. And I'm just going to go ahead and strain it off. So what I have here is a strainer. Let me start from square one. I did do a video on how to make St. John's wort infused oil a while back, and I'll put that in the link up here. But these are flowers that I harvested last summer, and at the peak of the harvest season, which is usually for us in here in North Idaho, it's in July, early July to mid-July. There's like a 3-week harvest window usually. And you want to go ahead and use it fresh. So Hypericum perforatum is the Latin name, and it's a wonderful plant, but it's best used fresh, and that's because of some of the chemistry that it has. So St. John's wort is a beautiful yellow flower. It's a 5-petaled flower and beautiful, sunshiny, lovely. I'll put a picture in here as an overlay so that you can see it. And if you have it growing near you, you can tell you've got a medicinal variety if you pinch the buds and you get little red dots or little purple dots on your fingers. That is an indication of the active compound in the plant, which is hypericin. And scientists have studied hypericin and cannot figure out why the oil turns red when it's evident. They can't tell if it's coming from anthocyanins or the polyphenols or what kind of chemical combination is causing it. It is still a mystery. But the fact is that if you've got St. John's wort infused oil, then you want it to be a nice red color. If you have a sunny window that you can let it sit in, you're going to get a more vibrant red color. And that's just from my own experience working with this plant for many years. And in Switzerland, which is my motherland, you can often find St. John's wort infusing in people's windows all year long because it's such a wonderful first aid infused oil. So it's a very healing oil. It's one of the oils that I used when I had sciatica for my back. So with that said, let's go ahead while this is straining here for a moment. Let's talk about some of the benefits of St. John's wort oil. So St. John's wort infused oil is really helpful for the skin. It's helpful for healing wounds and burns. It's helpful for neuropathies. It's helpful for things like sciatica. So that would be like any kind of nervous system pain issue that comes to the surface of the skin. St. John's wort has an affinity for the nervous system, a very strong affinity, so it's wonderful for that. It can be helpful for diaper rashes and other irritated rashes. So St. John's wort's really helpful for things like that. If you want to combine it with some arnica infused oil, it's very helpful for bruising. And I just love this oil. It's wonderful. It's not really a great oil to be used internally. So sometimes I'll make herbal infused oils and I'll actually put them in salad dressings and things like that. But St. John's wort infused oil is best used topically. I wouldn't use it internally. Now let's move on to the phototoxicity part of it, or the toxicity part of it. So if you look online for information on St. John's wort, you're going to find all kinds of things. You're going to find information that says it's toxic. You're going to find information that says it's photosensitizing. You're going to find information that says don't ever use it. And I just want to tell you that's ridiculous. I've used St. John's wort infused oil for so long. I can't even remember how many years it's been at this point, and I've never once had a problem. I actually have used it in salad dressing. Again, never with a problem, although it's not the best tasting. I don't really recommend that, especially if you're on medications. If you're pregnant or nursing, you should not be using any kind of St. John's wort preparation, like a tincture or a tea or the oil internally at all. So just know that St. John's wort happens to interact with a lot of over-the-counter and prescription drugs. So if you're on medications, which I hope you're not, but if you are, definitely take it easy with the St. John's wort oil, okay? All right, now let's talk about the phototoxicity or the photosensitizing nature that some people believe it has. I have used St. John's wort oil topically on my skin, have been in the sunshine, never had a problem. I've never heard of any of my clients having problems. I've never heard of any person having a problem, really. But evidently, livestock, if they go in a field and they eat the St. John's wort oil, might have trouble with a phototoxic reaction. When scientists have researched this, the animal has to eat, I don't know, I think it's around 1% or so of its body weight, which is a lot. In fact, if you've got a 1,000 pound cow, what are you looking at there? You're looking at about 10 pounds or so of St. John's wort. That's a lot of St. John's wort that they would have to eat in order to have some kind of a phototoxic reaction. I guess this is one of those situations where you take the knowledge and you go, okay, St. John's wort might have some photosensitizing activity. If you're using it wisely and if you're using it judiciously, it's probably just fine. I'm just going to share that with you. Personally, for myself, my own opinion, as an herbalist who doesn't take any kind of over-the-counter or prescription medications and hasn't for, gosh, it's been around 12 years now at least, I can tell you that I have no problem using St. John's wort. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and now pour this strained oil into this cup. And can you see how, I don't think you can see how red that is. It's gorgeous though. It's beautiful and red. I'm going to bring it over to the camera. You can see it from there. But it's a lovely red color, which is an indication of its strength. Every year when I harvest St. John's wort, I get different variations of the red. I'm going to go ahead and bring it over here so you can see this. Isn't that beautiful? That's just, I just love St. John's wort oil. Now, I like to use St. John's wort infused oil to make lotions. I use it in soaps, and it's really neat in soap. It turns the soap a beautiful light pink color, which is really nice. Now, right now, I'm going to go ahead and fill a few of these bottles up with this. I have a whole gallon of the St. John's wort infused oil over here, but I just want you to see this. This is what's actually going to be for sale on the shop, and I'm sending a lady a bottle of this today. So we're going to go ahead and get that ready. We'll let that sit there. And I can see the light shining through it. It's beautiful red, like a ruby red color, so pretty. And now I'm going to go ahead and make some skin healing salve. Now this salve is when, oh, you know what else I wanted to tell you is about the carrier oil. So I have a carpal tunnel blend. I think I put it in a YouTube video. I'll link to it above if I did. I'm pretty sure it's on here on YouTube. It's my carpal tunnel blend, and I use it for myself. It's been very helpful. You have to use it consistently, and what I've noticed is that people who use this over time, they find that the pain disappears. And the problem is, though, is that when the pain disappears, you stop using it, right? And then it comes back. But over time, I believe, at least for me, my nerves in my wrist have definitely healed to an extent anyway, and have improved. And I haven't had to have surgery. And I've been dealing with this for a very long time now as a school teacher. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that when you're working with carrier oils, and I've got my favorite essential oils that I use for therapies, for things like that. But when you can combine it with an herbal infused oil that has some of the same affinities, you're going to get a really powerful product. Anyhow, my basic salve recipe, we're going to go with 1 cup of the infused oil. I'm going to pour it into this pint jar with a wide mouth. And Get nice 8 ounces there. There we are. And now I'm going to take 1/4 ounce of beeswax. These are little organic beeswax pellets. And you can get these on Amazon or from a formulator shop, or I got these from Pompeii Organics, which is a great place. And I'm gonna go ahead and just set this pint jar with the beeswax into this double boiler system. So inside this pan, what I've got is about 2 inches of water, and it's simmering right now. And I'm gonna just turn it up to keep it going there. And I'm just going to watch this. It's going to take probably 10 minutes or so for the beeswax to melt down. And then we're going to continue on. And I'm going to talk about the essential oils that I'm going to be using in this healing salve for the skin. All right. I'll see you in about 10 minutes. All right, so our beeswax is almost melted. And while I'm stirring this, I just want to share with you that I did measure out the essential oils that I'll be using. I'm going to talk about those in just a moment. But I just want to say this. A lot of people think you can learn herbalism with a book or with a lot of books. The fact of the matter is you need to work with the herbs, and you need to learn from a good teacher. And it's best, honestly, and this is from years of experience of teaching and learning, it's best if you can learn in community. I just got an email today from one of my students, and she mentioned she was so grateful that she found our school, and she also mentioned some other courses that she's taken from other herbal schools, and she was just thanking me for the fact that our education is not dry, it's not boring. I do try to make it exciting. I think because I was a teacher for 30 plus 40 years of my previous life before doing this and teaching herbalism online, I know how to teach, and we do make it fun. It's very interactive, as well as heavily researched, and we have a lot of courses that I would love to have you join us in. We have short courses, we have long courses, and if you're interested in getting your customized home apothecary ready to go, I suggest taking Ditch the Drugstore if you are a beginner to herbalism, because we set a really good foundation for family herbalism in that course, and there is a certification option if you want to do that. And on top of that, we do have a membership that's very affordable for people, where we do classes, and there's over 55 master classes, and then we rotate in and out herbal workshops. It's a lot of fun. And I meet with students once a week, that for both courses actually. So anyway, wanted to mention that. It looks like the beeswax is melted, so I'm going to carefully remove this from the heat. I'm being very careful not to get any of the water from the jar into my tins here. And these are 2 ounce tins. I'm going to talk about these essential oils here in a minute. So I'm going to grab a towel. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this towel and wipe off the water that's on the outside of this jar, because again, you don't want any moisture at all in your herbal oils or your salves. It will wreck it. And so all the places where I see any moisture or any condensation, I am wiping this off to be super positive and sure that there's not any moisture going into my jars. All right. Now, this is all melted together, the carrier oil with the beeswax, and as it hardens, it's going to stiffen into a beautiful salve. And I have found that ratio that I just shared with you, the 1 cup of infused carrier oil to the 1/4 cup of beeswax, it works really well for most people. It's not too hard, it's not too soft. If you want it softer, use less beeswax. If you want it harder, you can use more beeswax. It's totally a personal preference, but I really like the consistency that this turns out. Now let's talk the essential oils. I love taking my herbal infused oils and salves and adding essential oil, because essential oil synergizes with the power of the plant chemicals that are already in the infused oil, depending on which ones you choose. So obviously this is going to be for skin, possible like nerve issues at the surface of the skin, and I really love lavender for this. So I put in 100 drops of lavender, and then we've got Helichrysum metallicum, This is an expensive oil. It's one of the more precious ones, but I really love it for skin healing. And so I added about 25 drops of that oil. And then we've got Roman chamomile, which is another skin-loving essential oil. Other oils that you could consider adding to this would have been rose geranium, really a wonderful essential oil, and it also helps with skin penetration. And then there are many others. Frankincense would have been really helpful and good too, but I decided to stick with these three. So I've got 100 drops of lavender, I've got 25 drops of Helichrysum metallicum, and I put in 20 drops of the Roman chamomile, and it smells really great. It smells beautiful and fresh and just lovely. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this in. This is just over a 2% dilution. So what we've got here is about 10 ounces of mixture. Let me turn off this burner here. And that's because we've got 8 ounces in a cup of the carrier oil, and we've got 2 ounces in 1/4 cup of the beeswax. So that's a total of 10 ounces. Now I'm going to stir this essential oil and herbal oil together really well. A lot of times people will just give it a little stir and figure that it's done, but the reality is if you work with colored essential oils like the blue oils or the gold oils and orange or like German chamomile or blue tansy, and you stir them into the lotion base, you'll find you're stirring for a good 5 minutes before that essential oil is completely incorporated. So once you've done that a few times, it's good to just know that no matter what you're stirring your essential oil into, give it a good stir. I can let it go for a few minutes. All right. Since this is really liquid, I'm sure it's fine. I'm going to take this out of here. I'm using a glass stir rod, by the way. I really love these. You don't have to use a glass stir rod. You can use a utensil, but I really like them because they're just nice. They make you feel sciencey too. Alrighty. No, they're actually very more professional. So I'm going to pour my St. John's wort oil carefully into my tins, up to the rim or up to where I want them to be. I don't really usually go to the rim because of surface tension. And I wish you could see this. I can't lift this up because once you pour your carrier oil into your tin, and by the way, these are also sterilized with alcohol, you can't move them. You want to be sure that they stay still so that you get a beautiful smooth surface on top. And what happens is when you add your essential oil, sometimes you'll just get a little much. So these are very full tins. And now here's a little tip for you. When you're working with your salves, you want to just go ahead and wipe off your utensils because that's going to help you with the cleanup, okay? So I'm just giving these a good wipe inside. The thing with beeswax is really hard to clean up. So get it while it's liquid, okay? I'm gonna get another towel here in a minute and do that. All right, and that is it. I'm going to let these firm up. I will take a picture when they're firm. I'll put an inlay of this for you, and you're gonna see how beautiful they are. And these are probably gonna end up being gifts, I think. But I hope you enjoyed this video and on St. John's wort infused oil, as well as how to make a beautiful skin healing salve and why it's useful. I hope to see you inside one of our courses. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to learn herbalism. That's why I'm here with you. I want to be sure that you learn it well. This is not I'm very trained, so you're getting good information here. And I do have videos on foraging. I've got videos on all kinds of medicine making. So take advantage of these things. If you want free guides and free printables, I have those too. Just check the description below. And again, subscribe, share. I really appreciate you guys. I'm Heidi Villegas with Healing Harvest Homestead and the School of Botanical Arts and Sciences, and I will see you in the next video.